Today I'm going to have a look at the St James Centre. That's a difficult question. I think the St James Quarter's always been divisive. I think it's called the Walnut Whip or the Golden Turd. It's an interesting addition to the skyline in Edinburgh. It's not been universally well received. I think it's interesting. I think the shopping centre actually works as an element. I know they had problems with the roof leaking and that got a lot of negative press, but as a single point of shopping in the centre of town, I think it's quite a good one. I think it's in two parts. There's everything except the Golden Turd, which is trying to bring in the idea of the crescents from the original James Craig master plan for Edinburgh. It's those curved streets, it picks up on the Georgian pattern. It tries to break it into large kind of sandstone masses. So when you see it from Leith Walkside, you see these individual blocks and they curve round a focal point. And if you look at St Andrew Square or Charlotte Square, that focal point was a garden with a monument. And in this case, the monument's the Golden Turd. But they sit oddly together, I think. I think there's that slight tension between the two, which might be part of the plan. I think in plan, when you see it from above, it fits quite well. When you look at the layout of the streets, the crescent wrapping through the centre of the St James Quarter mirrors the Randolph Crescent, I suppose, at the other end of George Street. I think when you see it in terms of skyline, it doesn't fit quite as well. Edinburgh's quite a flat skyline. When you look at it from further out, the south or the north side of Edinburgh, you just see the only things that really penetrate that horizontal line are churches or the Scott Monument or some of the schools. So the Golden Turd then sits quite oddly, I think, but it does have that point. It's got that sharp end point, a little bit like Spires, but it's maybe a little bit more kind of cutting edge than a lot of the rest of the skyline. Maybe that's why it stands out. I think it's a real challenge. I think whether you love it or not, I think you've got to be impressed by the work that's gone into it. I think to get a new building of that scale in central Edinburgh, to get anything with height in central Edinburgh, especially something clad in metallic gold, the Edinburgh planners are often quite resistant to that level of change, and actually I applaud that part of it. Again, it was a bit of a mash-up, so the main St James Quarter and the master plan themselves were done by Alan Murray Architects at the time, an Edinburgh practice who have done a lot of the work in the area round about Leith Street. I know them quite well. The actual hotel element, the Golden Turd part of it, I think was a London-based practice, and I don't know them as well. Yeah, that's always a difficult one. As an architect, you're always going to have done it in your own mind certainly better. I don't think I would have gone with the spiral. I'm not convinced by the ziggurat idea. I do love the gold. I'm more than happy with that, but I'm not convinced that unravelling spiral like a golden orange peel would be my idea. I like the height of it though, and I like the kind of sharp point and the kind of impact, so some of it. It was more about putting back. Edinburgh's a difficult place to do completely new things. So New St Andrew's House was there for years and was falling down. The concrete was degrading and it sat over the old St James Quarter. And I think that was, the primary driver was the removal of that and just putting some retail back into that end of Princes Street, trying to open it up and enliven it again. I think what's going to be really interesting over the next few years is the old Jenner's building coming back into use and just seeing how that really makes the St Andrew's Square end wrapping round St James's Quarter and all of that part of the eastern end of Princes Street really sing.